first started yoga 20 years ago after years and years of snowboarding and lots of injuries and crashes. My body was banged up, and when I was looking for something at the time. I wasn't quite sure what it was. I feel the universe just led me straight into a yoga practice. I didn't know what I was doing, just like most other people when they're brand new. I just kind of looked around the room and tried to figure out what was even going on. And but I really liked the way the poses linked together, and it kind of connected me to sort of like riding a snowboard. That's kind of what it felt like for me. Within, I would say, probably a few weeks of practicing, I knew that eventually I was like, one day I want to teach this. I love doing what I do. Like even on the days when I don't feel like teaching, because I've taught full time for the last 10 years, and there's days when I come in and I don't want to teach, but the moment the first person rocks up to the front desk and signs in, it's just like, yes. As soon as you walk through the door, all of your drama and all of your crap just leaves, and it's all about them for the next hour. The connection that it's created for myself personally has been phenomenal. I wouldn't have expected that to happen. It is probably one of the biggest surprises, was that if the yoga goes, you're gonna get to know yourself so good just by standing on this tiny little mat. And then seeing that happen for other people, I think is probably what's just mind-blowing. First of all, I've done a handful of trainings. You know, I've done probably 6 separate trainings myself. Every single course that I did, there was always a missing element for me, that I felt that if the course had this component or this component, it would make it a lot easier for people to kind of grasp the concept of teaching. When I created the course here for YOGALAB, that was kind of my starting point. I'm like, okay, I already know what the training needs as far as like the basic, the nuts and bolts, what every training needs to have. But now I'm gonna start here with all of the stuff that I think every training lacked. Like, you don't need a mic. I had to go turn it down. Like, I was like, man, like, you really don't, and that's a gift. Thank you. Once I started teaching though, I think it was actually when I started getting my feet wet with teaching. I figured out over years and years and years of getting mentored by the teachers that I respected, getting lots of brutally honest feedback, I started to find the missing ingredients in my own teaching that I felt led towards powerful teaching. It brings so much joy into my life, but probably the underlying thing would be just connection. One of the other areas that I'm very passionate about, that I think is so amazing to educate people on, is number one, more of the science behind yoga. I come from a science background. I've studied exercise science. I've always had a fascination with all things science. Teaching methodology is another huge one. Again, this is one of the things that I feel really differentiates YOGALAB's training from other trainings that I've worked on and have been a part of. I'd like to see more variation in your voice, because you stay quite, your voice stays at a relatively similar tone throughout. So use all the keys of the piano. Music and yoga have always coexisted and been a complementary practice. And from all of my years of making music, DJing, and playing tunes, it's a whole nother layer that can be added to the experience. But utilizing asana, breath work, meditation, music integration, building a vibe in your room, and bringing students into the experience. And if there's any particular thing that I want our trainees to leave with, is just more of a sense of who they are, number one, but then walking out into the world as an empowered human being, ready to make a change in the world, and to keep sharing the knowledge of yoga with as many people as possible. I would say the biggest challenge that the students will face is just, number one, just overcoming fear. You know, fear of looking inside, fear of standing up in front of a group of people and leading a class. I think people come in with a lot of doubts. They doubt themselves and they think they can't do it. And it's all of those doubts and those types of thoughts that through self-study, we start to figure out what that is and where it came from in our life, and then to dismantle it. And so there's a big door, comfort zone here, fear door here, step through to the other side, and then that's where it all goes down, man. That's where creativity happens, and that's where you step into your highest self. And that's what we're here to do.